Good evening, friends. Today,
Recording in progress.
today we will talk about some of the functions which I didn't complete earlier. Today, I'm just going to finish the leftover portions. Just give me 1 second. I'll share my screen. My screen is visible. So in today's topic, we'll discuss about lambda functions and map in Python, right? And then I'll talk about data collection and we'll talk about JSON data format, which I think I forget to include, which are very necessary in terms of programming. What is the lambda function? The lambda function in Python, it's an inline function, in other words, right? It's a small anonymous function where you don't give a name, but you do just define it and you just want to use it, right? So that's called a lambda function. Here we don't specify the number of arguments. It can take any number of arguments, but has only one expression or logic into it, right? Let's see an example. Before looking into lambda, let's understand what is a function. We have learned earlier what is a function. I'm just going to refresh, and then from there we'll see why we use lambda. And especially as a data scientist, when you review some other one's code, you will see a lot of functions defined, right? So like how in Python we have print function, right? Likewise, here, if I want to create a user-defined function in Python, I'll use the def keyword space, and then I specify the name of the function followed by the number of arguments, and then the logic. This is the syntax for defining function. For example, if I want to create a function for addition, then I'll say def add. This is the name of my function. In this case, I'm specifying two arguments, namely x and y, which are my inputs, and then I'm returning. My logic here is I'm returning x plus y. Let's try this function. So here I'm calling, once I define the function, I'm calling this function and then I'm specifying the parameters, right? So as you guessed, it's we got 8. Yeah, that's correct. So this is the normal way of defining functions, right? Everyone knows this, so I'm just going to skip this. So instead of writing this logic, I can write this logic in a different way, like a lambda function. As you can see here I'm specifying lambda, and then I'm specifying my parameters here, and then colon, and then logic. Here I can specify as many parameters I want. So this is the way you specify a lambda function, right? Right? Is this clear? So I'm just going to write the same function, and then I'm going to assign a variable to it, right? This is my variable. As you can see here, this is not a normal variable. It's a function variable. As I've selected hover over it, you can see it looks the same syntax as what we have defined earlier, right? Where this addition will take any two variables, x and y, right? And then it will produce out, right? That's what it is. So when I say print and I'm calling this function add 5 comma 3, then it will print 8, right? So actually, in simple words, I'm just creating a function in one line, whereas earlier I have to add 3 lines here at least, right? Here I'm just within a line, I'm defining a function and I'm just printing the output, right? So if you see other codes in a company, they'll use a lot of lambda function. For example, here we are specifying a square function. Here I take just one argument and then I perform an exponentation for the drawing argument to the power of 2, right? So in this case, if I pass the square of 4, square is my variable function. If I pass 4, 4 will be passed here, and uh, and it will be applied 4 or 2, 4 power 2, as you know, it's 16. That's what it is. Not only you can use lambda function like this, you can create, you can use lambda with map. This is a common scenario. For example, here I have a list, namely 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So in this list, I want to perform operation on this list. Let's say, if you see this is my input, the operation they have done is the same square, right? The operation which we have seen earlier, right? So the way we can do is we can say, this, square equal to lambda. This is what we have seen earlier. But this x input now, that input variable, I am passing it as a list. So in that case, I can use this map function. If I want to perform operations on the list of numbers, then I can use map function in this case. Right? Just give me a moment. Yeah. So that's what it is, right, friends? So in this case, what I'm doing is I'm specifying the square, which is my function. I'm mapping this function to my list nums, right? So this is the, forget about the list and all. This I think you understand, right? I'm mapping this square function onto this list. So this square function will be applied to each and every element of this list. That's what this map function does, right? Once I get the output, I'm saying convert this into a list again, right? So to a list data type. So hence I'm getting list data type. So as you can see here, it's open parenthesis and closed parenthesis, square brackets, right? Right. So hope this is clear. The same way, instead of writing all these things, right? I can put instead of writing square and then putting I just can put lambda straight away into my map function, right? And then the input list here will be the same, right? So I don't need to write these two lines of code. With this one line of code, I can execute this and it will produce the resultant output. Hope this is clear, friends. Like map, we also have another function called filter. Like suppose I want to find out, print just only the even numbers, right? With the numbers which are divisible by 2. In that case, I'll just modify this logic. Instead of x power exponent of power of 2, I can make it as x percentage of 2 is equal to 0. I'll check for this condition. If it is so, then it will be listed. It will be filtered, right? So that's what here we are doing. Here instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, we are saying 10, 15, 14, 35, 30. As you know, this will take each number. For example, it will take 10 first and then it will divide 10 divided by 2 and check whether the remainder is 0. If it is 0, then it will add it in the list, right? In our list. Else it will not be added in the list, right? So as you can see, 10 will be added. 15% 2 is 1, right? The remainder will be 1. 20% 2 is 0, so it is added. I guess 25% 2 is not added, and 30% 2 is added. So that's what it is. So you can also, you don't need to you can straight away write the lambda function even in your print statement, right? And that is definitely work, right? So far we have seen all these things, right? We have seen a basic lambda, how to write a basic lambda. This is square of a number. This is a lambda with mapping, and this is lambda with filter. As you know, lambda with mapping will apply a function to each element of the list, and lambda with filter will filter values based on conditions, keeps only the even numbers in this case. And in this case, it will directly execute and print it, right? Go to a variable. Next, we'll see how to import and export CSV. During my past tenure with the company, with the client, we used to, as a team, we'll export our output. Right? We'll run some jobs on missions and then we will export that output as CSV or Excel sheet and so on. So it's very important that you know how to import and export in Python programming, right? So what is CSV? CSV is comma separated. Let me show that. For example, this is my table. So on this table, let's say I have only two columns, name and age. Let's take myself, Arogya, 40 plus, let's say. Right? And some Nandini, for example, she is sub 32, right? Let's say Kumar, he is 32. Right? So we have different age. This is one way of storing data, right? This is not CSV. In CSV, instead of storing it as like that, I can store name, comma, sorry. I'll store name, comma, age. I'm writing it short. And then I'll store Arukya as A, comma, 40. Nandini as N, comma, 22. And Kumar as K, comma, 32, right? So in this, what I'm doing is I'm storing individual values separated by commas, right? Give me a minute. So this is what a CSV file looks like. This is most common format for data exchange, in fact. So for the pandas, we have support for this kind of files. So the for method we use is pd.read_csv, and we can load the data from CSV file to data file. So in this case, I'm importing pandas as PD, and then we are reading CSV file, and then we are printing it. So the way we do is actually, I've already just now loaded it. You can right click and then click file upload, and then you can load the file. Right? So what is that file name? Netflix, right? Yeah, Netflix.title. Once you load it, you can have a preview like here, double click it, you load, and it will show how many records it have. It has 8,000 records, right? Since it has 8,000 records, I can see, and I'm going to run it. I already seen it. It's taking a lot of memory, like in GBs, right? All these files, right? So it's a heavy file. And when I use df.ahead, I can see it as showing type whether it's a TV show or movie. What is the title of the movie or show? Who is the director? Who are the people? And what is the country? We have data added here, rating, duration, listed in, and description, right? So these are the fields we have, right? In this Netflix data set, right? So here, now I'm loading another file. This file is called data_semicolon.csv. If you open it, it will not show. It's come up. Oh, it shows here, right? I'm not sure whether you can see that that there is a semicolon, right? This is not separated by comma. The record, the fields are separated by semicolon, right? So in that case, I can specify my separator. So I've already loaded this data semicolon file, which just now I reviewed it. Right. So now while loading, it's remove all those spaces and it is converting into a pandas data. Right? Believe me, this is a big thing. Like every time we as a company used to do it, right? Send reports in CSV format, and we read it in CSV format because your clients or stakeholders, they will understand the CSV. Suppose that these headers are missing, for example, right? How to load it, right? So in this case, we can have an option called header equal to none. Sorry, friends, I have a bad throat today. So in this case, friends, I'm loading header equal to none. So if you look, this is a different file and this is a different file, right? This shows data underscore simple.csv. If you want, we can see that file. So, see here, this file, there is no header. The first column is actually name. As you can see, Grace 52 London is a name, but it is taking it as a header. It should not take it as an header. It has 100 records, 99. So in that case, I should say to my program, there is no header. If you say no header, then it will automatically add the default like 012 as header. Likewise, say for example, in some cases like this data CSV, there will be no header. In that case, if you want to specify the header, you can use this names attribute and then specify the names of that each feature or column, right? So you can see A, B, C, you can name whatever you want. Also, that you can specify specific columns, right? So, for example, the analytics data set I sent you, it's a big file. In that case, I can, I don't want all the fields, only title and country I want to load. By loading itself, you can filter the columns, right? Usually, if you work as a data scientist, there will be some 250 columns will be there. If you load all the 250 columns, your system will crash. Even though it's cloud storage, you are going to pay it, right? The more you spend the archive, the more it will charge, right? So based on your capacity, it's going to charge, right, friends? So that's what it is doing. It is loading only title and file. Apart from that, if you want to, there are 10,000 records, you can roll only the first 10 records also. That is also possible. Right? So that's what it is. In some files, for example, sales.csv, let's look at sales.csv. You see here that this is sales.csv, has 4 columns. Here, when you look at the data types, the data is an object, it should be data type, right? Kind of thing. So in that case, I can load it and then say it, and then I can look at it like what field it is, it's actually date. So in that case, I can say parse the data as date itself, right? If there is any dates, parse it as date itself, right? So in this case, I'm specifying the date is I'm specifying the date column and just saying parse read it as a real date, right? In that case, we can see, right? So this date is read as the date time object so that you can perform some date operations like what is the age calculation, like which year you were born, and what is the current year and kind of thing. Next, we can set the index also, index column also. In this case, it was earlier a zero index and so on. So that I feel that the show ID should be my index, right? So in that case, I can use index column show. Next is you can also export if there is a, as I said, every day we have to create a report and send. We usually will convert the object to CSV file. In this case, the output is a data frame. We can convert to CSV using df.to underscore CSV and then specify output file. So in this case, it will create a file called out.csv. See the folder. Yeah, so it's already created out. So as you can see here, on the data frame, I have only one 10 records and this 10 record. Sorry, all these 8,800 records have been saved, saved as a CSV file. There are many places where you want to. This will say with the index and index, but I don't want index and index. Then you can use it. I use this index code function. So you can see that the index is uh, with the index and data index here. But I don't want the index. I want to just save the index without index. Then I can use this. And next is you can also specify a custom separator. Like usually, it will, if you store it CSV, it will be stored as comma separated file. But if you want a separate separator, then you can use this. Okay, it's a string passing error. So what I'm going to do is I can delete this file and then rerun it. It will be correct. Okay, for some reasons I think they are using the same name. I think there is some problem with the rendering. Let's try once again. It does not work with the. Okay, there may be some internal issues in the Google Colab. Likewise, we can. Okay, so right now it is saying header equal to false, and then index is also false. Let's delete all these things. Let's try to execute this. All right. So it's working. Likewise, you can also specify some other specific columns. Save the specific columns also it's possible. So in this case, I'm just saving only the column's name and age, right? So all these things you can look into it. But right now we will go to another topic, which is data collection. We'll talk about this topic. Hope this is still visible. Once again, I will share it to them and make sure everyone sees it. What is JSON? JSON is a language for data exchange. That's what it is. We exchange data like anything, right? We exchange WhatsApp data, photos, YouTube data, comments. So many data are there. So how this data is exchanged between the internet network, right? So that's what we are going to study. There are different data formats, data exchange formats. One of the common exchange data exchange found is XML, but currently it's JSON, right? JSON is JavaScript object notation, right? It's a lightweight format for storing and exchanging data, right? In fact, it's a text-based data format, right? So here you specify how the data should be, so that the client and the server can easily communicate, right? Um, and also, it's easy for humans as well. Not only for computers, it's easy. It's also easy for human reading and machine passing. And it's language independent. Here we are using JSON in Python, but you can especially use in any programming language, especially parallel programming, right? So we have a model called JSON. We also have commonly used APIs of webs and config. So let's understand JSON rules. The rules is first thing is data should be written in key value pairs, right? So whenever we give data, it should be in key value pairs. And the other thing is keys and string values are wrapped in double quotes, right? So we'll see that. So in this case, you can see here both the key and the value is wrapped in double quotes. Arrays listed objects are supported. So in this case, we can also have arrays like here, and we can have arrays here. And also we have nested JSON also like here. Right. So this is what they are saying. So let's understand a simple example. We are creating a simple JSON object. Right. So this is actually kind of your biodata, like name, alias, age, 25, whether he's a student or not, right? Here we are giving like skills. It's a list of things since we are giving like this, and address is also a listed object with its own case, right? Just give me 1 second, friends. Thank you, friends. So let's see JSON in action. Okay, so here we are importing JSON. Like pandas library, we are using JSON. In this case, we are just going to see how to convert a Python into a JSON object, right? So if you look here, we are creating a person. It's a Python dictionary, right? We are saying name and we are saying a key value pair, right? We are saying name Alice, age 25, city New York, student, he false, and skills we are giving this a list of strings, right? And then we use this JSON.dumps, which will convert this person data dictionary with into a JSON object. So as you can see here, this is my JSON object, a JSON file string, right? So in this case, we are doing four spaces as you can 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Four spaces are there even within scripts, even it's an inner loop kind of thing. We have four spaces, right? Starting from here. So the way we can specify Indian equal to 4 is the common one, right? So in this case, I'm specifying Indian equal to 4, and then we can say whether the data type it's now a string or not, right? By using this type function, and then we can print the JSON string. So in this case, when you print it, you print a class str. This is the output, right? But the actual JSON object is starting with this curly braces and ending with the curly braces, right? Right. So now we want to convert JSON to Python. Earlier we have converted Python to JSON. Now we want to convert JSON to Python. So the way we do is we import JSON and then we specify the data, right, as a JSON string. As you can see, the way we specify the JSON string is to start with code, single line, single quotes, and then single quotes. Right, so this is my object name. So I say JSON dot loads, and then I specify JSON underscore data, and then we can print and see out. Okay, I think I have to come front. Yeah, we were discussing about this, right? So in this case, you can also read a JSON file, like how you know Python file handling, right? Might have studied in earlier classes. In file handling, we have the read mode, write mode, right? So likewise, here we are specifying the Python file name, and we are specifying as the read, right? So then we load it JSON.load, and then we specify if. So in this case, it will print the data to see what's inside. Yeah. So this has been converted to, uh, this has been opened actually. This is a person.json. You see here, you will see person.json. So this data is converted to, so as you can see here, yes means Python string. If you don't specify yes means, it will convert Python to a JSON file that loads this for loading strings and then load for other things. Right? Next is working with Excel. Imagine you have a file called data XLS. How to load it, right? So imagine that there is a file called data.xlc, and then we have multiple sheets here. Right, so everything is different way. Either you can load the file as this, or else you can load just the sheet one, or else you can, if you say specific, specific sheets, you can also say that. Next is we can write to Excel. So let's see that. One second, friends. I'm just opening out. It's open. Sorry. It's opening in the Excel sheet. So let me show the Excel sheet here. So as you can see here, you can see that the data is has been stored as an XML file, right? So that's what it is, right? This is we can work with, we can create such a data and store the cells in Excel. So the way we do is we create a pandas data frame, and using pandas data frame, you select all the columns, and then you convert it into Excel file. Right? Then once you can store it as Excel file, you can even read it and then specify the data. Likewise, you do filter, group by, all these things we have already done it. This we have not done it. Sorry about my throat, friends. Okay. So here what happened is it will create 15 rows, right? So that's what it is doing. Sorry, I think we can stop it here. But if you have questions, you can ask me now. If you have any questions, you can type on the chat. If there your time out of your busy schedule,
Recording stopped.
And preparing for your exams, and however you came to attend it, I really appreciate. Right. So in the next class, we'll continue working on APIs, and then we'll continue on projects, and then with it, right? That Rashmi, I'll just check with how many more sessions we have, right? But this week we'll have at least one more class. You have exam, Rashmi, this time? Are you a student? If there are no questions, you can leave, friends. No, one second, thanks for the time. Uh, we have, I think, at least 3 more sessions. I'll check with the team and I'll let you know in the next class. Next, we have a class. At that time, I'll let you know, right? I have to give you a project as well for you. Um, I'm having some backlogs right now, so that's why I couldn't. But I'll give the projects very soon, and based on the projects, we'll have one or two, 3 sessions we have, right?